So what I want to do is place an implant like this, in the posterior maxilla, right, with a very good stability, which is not easy to do. Okay, I want an implant with very good primer stability. So this is our case. This is the posterior maxilla. This is the cortical bone from the sinus floor. Okay, so this is my sinus, and this is the cortical bone. Okay, this is my pilot drill, this is my final drill, and this is my implant. Okay, so if I want to place the implant in a way that it goes until it reaches the cortical bone and it doesn't enter the sinus, because I'm afraid of the sinus, what I do, right, I take the pilot drill, I go until I reach the cortical bone, right, I take the final drill, do the same thing, right, and then I take the implant, and in a very soft bone I try to stabilize it, right? It goes very easily, very easily. And if I want to keep that little stability that I have, a very little stability, because it's a very soft bone, then I have to stop in at the moment when I reach the cortical bone. So I go very easily, and now I feel that I reach the cortical bone. It's a very bad stability. The implant barely holds on. What happens if I don't stop? If I start rotating the implant, then the implant starts spinning and it takes out the bone. It breaks the threads that it made. So I just lose all the stability. I have to take my implant out. That's it. What can I do next? Well, I can take a bigger diameter implant and try to insert it, but again, it's a very soft bone, so probably I won't have a very good stability. What can I do to make it better? I want to engage the cortical bone. What that it means? I want to enter the sinus. Okay, let's see how it's done. So what I do is I take my drill, and this time I go all the way in the cortical bone, through it. Okay, I go through the cortical bone, right, in the sinus, but I just barely enter, right? I have stoppers, so I can do this, and I enter the cortical bone. I don't have to break the sinus membrane. I just make a hole in the cortical bone, right? And this time I take my implant and I want to insert it, right? And when I reach the cortical bone, I'm expecting it to enter the cortical bone and stabilize it. But it won't. Why won't it? Let's see. There's the implant, right? There's the implant. Let's change the perspective. Let's go like this. Because this hole that I made is smaller than the tip of the implant, right? And if this hole is smaller than the tip of the implant will do the same as if I didn't enter the cortical bone. It will just spin and lose its stability. So what I have to do, I have to know the tip of the implant, what is diameter, okay? And I have to take a drill that's exactly the same diameter as the tip of the implant, okay? And when I do this, okay, I take this drill and I penetrate the sinus with this drill. I barely penetrate it, okay? Just just enter it, use the stoppers and just enter, okay? And then you take the implant and you go, and at this time when you reach the cortical bone you have to really push, so implant won't be able to spin, right? So the implant will engage the cortical bone, okay? If I really push and push, and that's it, I can't go any further, and I have a very, very good stability. And depending on how tough, how thick the cortical bone is, I can get a stability of very, very high stability. That's it, you see? I can't go any further. I can't go any further because the implant engaged the cortical bone, and that's it. Very good stability, right? Very good stability.